just to spit it out. Does it feel better now? So tell me, where did we go wrong along the way? What happened to the purpose? 'Cause it feels worthless now. There's nothing left to say. 'Cause every time I tell myself that I'm okay, it feels like the days again. Will you follow me when the sky starts to change? Yeah, we won't be afraid. We'll never be the same again. Will you follow me when the sky starts to change? Yeah, we won't be afraid. We'll never be the same again. Will you follow me? We won't leave it to chance. We can't write our romance. We'll never be the same again. We are tyrants and we are kings.
Hello, all you weebs, and welcome to Grappling with the Week, the show that brings you the hottest wrestling news and highlights from the steamy kitchens of NXT to the gritty, fast-paced action of AEW. We talk about it all and give you a big discussion piece, depending on the week, to truly satisfy that hunger of wrestling content. Brought to you, of course, by Anima We Studios and hosted by your Weebs of the Ring. Let's stomp a mud hole in this week and get right into the action. How's it going, everybody? Hopefully your week has been going well. For some of us, it has been very draining, whether we're getting through some sicknesses or, work has just been very annoying. We're here to just kind of relax, chill, and, maybe we'll play some b-ball outside of school, a lot like the song goes on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But if this is your first time here, of course, we are the Weebs of the Ring. I am your world champion Watkins here to kind of help us go through all the news this week, as I am the one hosting everything going on. And of course, right to my side. Sorry, I'm so used to Discord with you above me, and then I'm like, wait, no, you're not above me. You're to my left. We've got the genius of the mat himself, Drop This Box, joining us. Drop, how you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. Cough is slowly going away. I'm happy about that because I was stuffy when we did last week's show. And
yeah.
I definitely don't want any sickness when I go to that convention this Saturday, especially when I want to meet certain people that I liked ever since I was a kid. So I got to get a good first impression there. But
Yep. Yeah, definitely got to get your rest in and all that. So, luckily for us, it's been another slow week when it comes to news and just kind of the happenings with NXT and AEW. So, we're probably going to be in for a bit of a shorter episode this week, but that's all fine and good because, WrestleMania is around the corner and we're going to be pretty busy come that week and all that. So, let's just kind of get right into it. By starting, of course, with the greater wrestling media. So this segment is usually used to highlight any indie promotions we go to whenever those may come up, some news we wanted to discuss, interesting documentaries or interviews from the week that have popped up, and anything else in the grand scale of professional wrestling in the world. So this week we had probably one of the biggest pieces of news to come out. I think this came out, yesterday? So talent are deciding to leave TNA after Gail Kim's firing. Now, if you're an older head of wrestling like me and Drop R, you might recognize the name of Gail Kim. Now, she did a little bit of a stunt in WWE, but most of her biggest work, at least to my knowledge, has been through TNA. And this happened, just yesterday. I know, Sydney, you're very shocked that this happened, but this report actually comes from Fightful. Gail Kim's firing by TNA has been met with shock disbelief and anger by wrestlers within the promotion and the decision reportedly taken by TNA president Carlos Silva was a unanimously unpopular move. So, such is the anger around Kim's firing that one talent has reportedly decided they won't be remaining with TNA Wrestling when their contract is up. Others, meanwhile, have said they are scared for their jobs. So, Gail Kim's firing came about on Tuesday, March 25th, as part of a backstage shakeup in TNA, with the likes of Ariel Schnerer, Raphael Morphy, and Rob Klingman. I almost said Killingham for a second. So apologies for getting some names wrong, more than likely. Also, all of them being let go. Gail Kim was a legend of TNA and has been with the company across multiple runs since 2005, working as a producer and in talent relations in recent years. So this is big because like the story was saying, a lot of people kind of looked up to Gail Kim, and she was doing a lot of good work for the company for years now. Like, I mean, you just look at her being in there since 2005 on and off. That's almost 20 years with a company, and they just let you go like that. Just to shake things up like that. We know TNA's always had its ups and downs and all that, but like their management style recently, ever since they what's his name? Shoot, now I'm blanking on the guy's name who used to be the president. Ever since he left like a year ago, like their management, when you look at stories from backstage and all that, is not looking too good. But what are your thoughts on this, Drop?
I mean, it's definitely like I would say, based on what I've seen throughout the week, it's definitely like the biggest set of news to come out of this week. Like, if you want to take one thing that we're talking about on the show that was like all over X throughout the week, or other social media platforms, this was it, because she's been a staple of that company, just like Tommy Dreamer and a couple other people as well that really helped build that company to where it is now. And the fact that you got wrestlers that I saw that were part of their that are part of that company, given their responses on what was currently going on with Gail Kim, it's gonna piss a lot of people off, because that's somebody that was probably there to help them in the time of need when they were first getting started, giving their advice. Because you gotta remember, she's been in the game too, so she knows how everything operates. She knows sort of vision that she wants to take the company when it comes to how successful she wants it to be. So I don't really blame people for feeling this way about it, especially with like close colleagues of her, and also people potentially even leaving the company, because you never know how certain people feel like once somebody that they're close to leaves. Like the whole thing that happened with Scott D'Amore, I know that hit a lot of people hard too.
Scott D'Amore, that was his name.
Like, I just remembered it. Because I remember what happened with him. You had Jordan Grace getting upset. I believe Moose was upset. Several other talent as well. And almost in a way, it kind of feels like, a lot of those pieces of the puzzle that were part of TNA, when all of them were in the same area, they're all getting taken out like piece by piece. And it's weird. It almost feels like the whole company's like being rebranded. Like I would love to know the exact reason as to why they're firing her, because that's like a huge asset to TNA. It's almost like, you got Triple H in charge of WWE. All of a sudden, okay, TKO sees like another vision. Let's take Hunter off of creative and everything, and he could just do things with Stephanie, and we could have somebody else inserted in that position. Like, that wouldn't be fair, because you have a lot of talent that looked up to him, see his vision and everything, and people wouldn't want things to head south with that. So, it's definitely a heartbreaking story. It's definitely a debt in TNA, and I really hope the company's able to still stand tall. But this is definitely a heavy hit when it comes to what's currently going on with the company right now.
Yeah. I wonder too how much influence working with WWE has, because you know there's going to be those people out there that are going to be
Yeah.
like, oh well, there's WWE's poisoning TNA. They're going to try to buy them out and use them as like a fourth
Yeah, I
brand.
heard-
It's like,
Yeah, I heard that.
yeah, it's like, yeah, you could think that way because slimy business practices and all that, but I mean, this was going on even before the whole WWE take. I don't want to say takeover, at least yet, but you know, like again with Scott D'Amore being let go from TNA, like that was the big pusher right there. Because like once he got put out, it's like okay, a few months later they kind of start working with WWE. So it's like okay,
Yeah.
there's some credence to all that, but at the same time, it's like well, they've kind of been doing this a lot in the past years, like. Remember the time they were global wrestling or something? They were like with this owl company or something. I don't know. The whole history of TNA is a very big, I don't want to say mystery. It's just a big old cluster really. So interesting that they let her go because they're trying to shake things up. Because again, like she was like a big part, especially for the women's locker room. Like there was a time where, and I mean that this mainly speaks more to the talent too, but I mean with her being involved with like production and all that, there was a time where like the women's division was like in TNA could have been argued as one of the best in the world for
Yeah,
a
I
bit.
remember that.
So, and I mean, who knows? She could end up with Scott D'Amore up in Maple Leaf, so she
Yeah.
could be working with him again.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll just have to see. Maybe we'll get some news coming out of why she was, because again, like it's kind of up in the air. Like all we're getting told is, oh, they were looking to shake things up. It's like okay, that doesn't always lead to good things, you know. Man. But so we're gonna move right along to our next little news segment here. So Swerve Strickland, he's detailed a meeting that he had with Vince McMahon shortly before his WWE firing. So this is actually something I didn't hear about. Let's see as I bring up the article.
Oh damn.
So Swerve Strickland.
Quite lengthy,
Oh, what's up?
too. Quite lengthy too. Damn.
Oh, goody. Oh my gosh, that is a long old quote. All right. Well, what was he talking to? Swerve Strickland revealed that possible heat with Vince McMahon on one member of Hit Row may have resulted in Strickland, AJ Francis, and Ashante Adonis all being released by the company. Oh, so this was back in like 2021. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Only a few weeks after BFAB was let go on November 4th. Okay. So he was on Vlad TV. Strickland discussed the faction's firing. Coming up, I think there was a contract dispute with the girl of the group, BFAB. That's speculative. I'm not sure that's 100% true. Shout out Bree, she's still dope. She's still up there now, and she's also doing good work. So yes, shout out BFAB right now.
Mm-hmm.
They brought her back. Something happened with that. As soon as we got drafted, the following week, we did a promo, and then she wasn't getting flight information to be at SmackDown. It just kind of disappeared. Okay. It was like, well, we all got ours. Where's yours? I didn't get mine yet. We were all talking amongst each other. Like, no, we didn't get it. It's getting closer and closer to the flight time. Where's Bree at? I still have no flight. I still don't have anything. It's literally just got taken off. She got the flight, and then it just went away. It disappeared. I was like, yo, what's going on? We're on the flight, we're coming down, and we start getting our notifications, and we're seeing all these releases happening. Oh, that's right. They found out like through like social media and all that.
Yep.
Ricochet is right next to me on the other aisle. He just looks at his phone and looks at me. Yo, all the talent is just looking at all their friends just getting fired. Like a group of 8 people just got fired that day. That whole year, I think they let go of 150 talent and staff. Yeah, I remember this time because like it was all throughout like COVID and all that.
Yep.
And even beyond that, like they were releasing people. Oh, they were like I remember the big one, like the big group of it. It was the group that like Braun and Bray got released. Like literally, you fired 2 former world champions for what reason? Budget cuts? Okay, cool. Yeah, I believe that. Um, Oh, he's got more! One of the members of the group reacted angrily to BFAB's WWE release, which led to a meeting with Vince McMahon. Then we meet with Vince McMahon, or whatever. Apparently, one of the members of the group was just... They complained at the office because he was calling, asking for a flight. What's going on? They're like, we can't disclose that information to you. He's like, what? He started getting aggressive on the phone, apparently, at Titan Towers. So we're meeting with Vince. We have to talk to Vince about this because he was apparently upset with it. He was like, first off, that's none of your business. You're a talent, you do this. You worry about what you do. Don't worry about anybody else, even if it's in your group. You worry about what you do. That's how we do here. That's a respect thing? Okay. We're just sitting there in the hallway of this arena, Bruce Pritchard behind him, John Laurinaitis behind him, and Vince is right here, and they're just sitting there, standing like puppy dogs, watching Vince just bark at us. Oh, Strickland's laughing, okay. I was just like, wow, I think that heat got on us right there. He's just like, nobody just asked for a meeting with me. There's people that work for me 15 years that's never had a meeting with me. I was like, oh, cool. I feel honored now. We got the little bit of scolding, but it was just the one member of the group that made that call. And apparently who he was talking to in the office complained about he was aggressive on the phone or whatever. Who's to say how that conversation actually went? Probably a recorded phone call somewhere, I don't know. But real quick, Vince was talking about that, and then he switched it like, but we're gonna have a lot of fun tonight, guys. We're gonna have a lot of fun. We got some good stuff for you coming up. I was like, okay, cool. We did a segment with Sami Zayn on SmackDown, came in the back, shook Vince's hand. He's like, that was great. You gotta smile. Make sure you put that smile out there, whatever. Cool. Go to the back of the locker room. We were like, okay, I think that went well. Then Sami Zayn comes back. He's like, apparently... Vince didn't like... Oh my god, I can't with this man. Vince hated it. We're like, we just saw him 5 minutes ago. He's like, yep, apparently he just didn't like it. Okay. Oh my god, Swerve, you're revealing so much. Okay, don't worry, people. We're gonna break this shit down here in just a second. Swerve revealed he had a brief conversation with Bruce Pritchard soon after him being the veteran of the group. 2 weeks later, the rest of Hit Row were released. Next thing you know, one of the group members gets appendicitis. He can't wrestle. Oh, shoot. I feel like was that AJ Francis? It might have been. I don't know. Whatever. That's besides the point. So now it's just left... Now it's just left to me and the big guy to have these tag matches. Never mind, that was Ashante. Apparently, he upset somebody in the back somewhere, somehow. I'll never forget to this day. It was before the show, rehearsal and everything. We go over the segment, I come through the back, and Bruce Pritchard's just sitting by himself in the gorilla position. He's like, hey, Swerve. I'm like, yeah? He's like, you know you're the veteran of this group, right? You've been doing this the longest. You have the most experience. I'm like, yeah, I do. He's like, alright, take control. I was like, okay. 2 weeks later, we all get let go. That was the last time. Then all these reports coming out about what happened, what possibly happened, and it was like speculative heat, major heat on one individual that caused everybody to get released and all that, which might have been true. Then I'm hearing from talents I'm close with, they're like, yeah, it was him. Yeah, it was him. I'm like, damn. Then 90 days until I can get hired and get a new job. Okay, so... See, the more that comes out from people that got released by Vince and how they've dealt with Vince, like the more that just comes out with it, the more you just believe every single story you hear about Vince. Yeah. Whether it's like from the talent like this or just like rumors and speculation. No, when you hear about like this kind of shit, like the man literally lied to his face. was just like, yeah, your segment was great. And then Sami Zayn of all people has to be the one to come back there and just like, yeah, apparently he hated it. Like, what kind of person are you? And then to just go out there and tell them, oh yeah, put a smile on your face and make sure you make everybody else happy. It's like, dude, fuck you, man. Like, fuck you to the highest heavens, or the lowest of hells, which, that might be where you're going, dude. Like, no wonder Swerve doesn't want to come back. Like,
Yeah.
Even with a new regime, like, no wonder the man just does not want to come back. But I've talked far enough. I've been quoting that whole thing. What was your takeaway from all this? Holy shit! I knew Swerve did an interview. I didn't know all this came out. Holy crap!
Yeah, I did see like bits and pieces of this throughout the week.
Mm-hmm.
I guess this article just sums everything up when it came to whatever he said when he was on that little podcast. But
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's like another fucked up story coming out when it comes to talent being released by Vince McMahon. That report said like around 120 people or so when it comes to talent, probably people,
Mhm.
150 people when it comes to talent and staff and everything. I mean, that's a pretty crazy number, but it goes to show that, he doesn't really need to be there anymore, even though it is a better place. Vince is gone. Laurinaitis is gone. All those people that really was burying the company, they're gone now, but still, he's doing a lot better in AEW. He's one of the top stars there.
Yeah.
He's in a main title program with Jon Moxley right now, so they obviously treat him the way that he needs to be treated. He signed a new deal recently. I believe it's like an extension of some kind. Probably got paid really well. So it's just one of those things where it's like sometimes if things don't work out, one place it works out and the other, and it's definitely benefiting him, as we can clearly see, because you could say that, when it comes to AEW taking in talent when they sign, free agents and everything, you could definitely say he was one of those stars that they really helped bring up, and I'm just glad that he doesn't have to deal with any of that bullshit anymore. Like, that's honestly the best way to sum it up. It's just Vince manipulating his talent, telling him one thing and then finding out it's something completely different. It's just better that he's like out of that toxic environment, so he doesn't have to deal with that shit anymore. Even if it is better now, still, he's doing a lot better where he's at, so he doesn't really need to come back just because so and so's gone. If you're happy where you are doing your own thing or whatever, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. And you put it nicely. Just he's happy where he's at. He's in a good spot where he's at. Like, why leave? Re-sign with them. You're getting money. You're getting booked pretty well. I mean, a couple things here and there. Mainly one thing this past year with Lashley, but we'll revisit that one day. But I mean, why move and why go somewhere, especially somewhere where you had such negativity with it, And I mean, again, never say never, because again, CM Punk went back, but I mean, leaving kind of like having something like this kind of happen. I mean, I don't blame him. Again, I don't blame him for wanting to leave and not wanting to come back. Oh boy, but. Okay, cool interview. I might check out the rest of it. We'll see when that day or time comes. But another person that left WWE, went to AEW, and is now leaving AEW is Saraya. So this was something that caught my eye just in the past couple days. So Saraya, she had released a tweet I saw where it was like, oh yeah, I still got some time on my contract, blah, 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 all that. But she was actually on Entertainment Weekly. Or, excuse me, this came out from Entertainment Weekly because she was on this new podcast called Rule Breakers that, it was her first episode of it. That's right. I heard this came out too. So, basically, her quote from this episode was, "I'm here to tell you that me and AEW's relationship has come to an end. I had an amazing time there. There's no bad blood between us. I had such a magical time. Thank you, AEW. Thank you to the AEW fans. I loved my flipping time there. Tony's flipping awesome, and anyone that goes to work there will just enjoy their time. It's just great. And I'll miss the girls' locker room. I'll miss you, but don't be a flipping stranger. You know where I am. I see some of you outside of the company anyway. Yeah, and like I like her reasoning for leaving though too, because she kept going saying, and then I got to thinking, what is there left for me to do in wrestling right now? Right now, there's really no storylines where I would fit in. It's just me thinking that I just don't fit in right now. I feel like I might be taking someone else's spot, someone who could be doing something really special. I appreciate that with Saraya, because like she understands that. And I mean, later on in her quote, she had mentioned, sorry, my laptop unplugged from its power source. I do know she mentioned like during this episode how she really just kind of wanted to put people over and like elevate people, which she kind of did. I mean, she did kind of help. I mean, indirectly, Tony Storm a little bit with bringing her up through the company. There was there was somebody else too.
Britt Baker?
I know she was working with Harley. What was that?
The Brit or
It might have been Britt too, but I don't know. It's a good mindset I think she had. It sounds like whether or not you think she didn't have a good time there or anything. It at least seems like she did. I don't know. At least compared to like other people who have been wanting to leave who haven't been booked the best way. Yeah. I mean, at least this is a positive story coming out from leaving the company. What do you think about this?
I mean, I'm happy that she was able to enjoy her stay there, because there's some people that leave a company, they end up shitting all over it and everything because they don't like how things took place there and everything. But it's good that she was able to find some enjoyment when it comes to the people she worked with, when it comes to things that she did with the company as a whole. And I honestly, just wish the best for her. I mean, I know it says that, she left the company. She's a free agent. So she could do a lot of things. She can come back to WWE. She could possibly help the girls behind the scenes, try to improve the women's division there, because she is one of the pioneers that really pushed the needle for the women's division. So it's like, if she ever wanted to dive into that, maybe help out Sean with the women's division NXT, or maybe on the main roster, she could do something like that. I mean, I just hope things work out for her in the long run. And, knowing how she doesn't want to take that spot away from other people, it just goes to show that, she really cares about her craft, and she wants to make sure whatever she's doing, helps benefit what matters most. And, that's a good mindset to have.
Yeah. It's nice to see somebody just being positive about leaving a place of work, and I guess it kind of just speaks to her mindset about wrestling in general, because I guess she figured at that stage of her career she's there to just put people over, which you a lot better off than most other people that are in AEW currently that don't really put over too many young talent and all that. But of course, we're kind of getting into this topic of contracts and people leaving companies and all that. That seems to be like the theme tonight. Just like people leaving companies, whether it's AEW, WWE, and all that. Apparently, Mariah May's AEW contract is expiring this summer. So, and I saw a few people tweeting stuff out because like they were sharing pictures of her with like at WrestleMania a few years ago, like hugging up on a picture with Triple H and everything. So, yeah, we don't know if there's any like additions to her contracts or anything. Because it looks like, because I'm looking at the article right now, it looks like she signed with AEW in November of 2023. Linking May with a move to the promotion since her debut. She's been pushed strongly. Yep, she won. Oh, she was the first winner of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. Okay. Wow, that was the summer of 2024? Oh my gosh, she's not been in AEW that long. Holy crap. Alright. Interesting though that her contract would only be like 2 years. Because
Yeah,
like a lot of yeah.
I think that's what caught me off guard the most was the fact that it was just a
Yeah.
2-year deal. I don't know if it was one of those things where she wanted to see what her value was, so she signed a 2-year deal, and then she wants to see what she can get out of it for her next contract, which I feel like is a good mindset, so you know what the company's doing with you. That way, if you want to continue doing things with them, or if you want to move on to something else, you can do that. Because, I mean, one thing I can definitely say for sure is this whole feud that she had with Tony definitely helped mold her into a bigger star, just like how it did with Tony. They both really evolved their characters to something on a whole new level, and a lot of people even consider it one of the best women's feuds in recent memory, just considering a lot of depth that they put into it. And you could honestly say, you know, it's probably like one of the best stories coming out of like AEW, at least when it comes to like the women's side of things, that really brought everything to where it was now, especially with that match that they had at Revolution to really cap things off.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, one thing's for sure is like, okay, so we have our contract ending in summer 2025. So the easy answer could be she could just sign a new contract with Tony. He can give her the money that she wants, which shouldn't be an issue. And then she can go from there. But on the other hand, you can't really rule out the whole idea if she wants to try something else out. Maybe she wants to go to WWE, because you never know. It could be one of those things kind of similar to Stephanie Vaquer, where I know with her, she went for like tryouts with WWE a couple years ago. Things didn't really work out in her favor. It was a similar thing with Mariah May. She did tryouts for them. Things didn't really work in their favor. I know she did some things with like WWE shop and everything, but I do remember seeing a picture. I know there's Stephanie DeLander there. There's Mariah May. I know there's Jamie Hayter. I know Lyra Valkyria was in the photograph as well for all the ladies. So it's like, you never know. Maybe she wants to pursue that dream again, because, you know, I saw the tweets too. I know she's definitely a really big fan of Triple H. That's one thing that really pointed out. Like, if you look at a lot of those old tweets that people brought up, it's a lot of Triple H tweets. Like, she loves his theme song, you know, she loves everything surrounding this guy. And she just tweeted like nonstop about WWE when she was probably, you know, getting into wrestling and just following everything that goes along with the company when it involves, you know, the things that really interest her. So you never know deep down, kind of like saw Stephanie Vaquer, where she came out and says, you know, I could have gone anywhere, but I wanted to go where my heart led me. And that wasn't the money. That was where I really wanted to pursue my career and really take off and, you know, do something with it. So it could be one of those things where she did what she did at AEW. Maybe it wasn't as long as they expected her to be there. And you know that they're going to both fight for her. It's not going to just be an easy win. No,
they're going to throw
AEW.
some money.
Because a lot of people can look at this, like I said, be like, oh no, she's just going to stay with AEW. But you never know, because it's up to her with what she really wants to do. So maybe she sees that second chance with AEW, with WWE. You got this, I mean, fuck, we'll talk about it in a little bit. We got the whole Evolution pay-per-view coming in. That's a celebration for the women. That's a PLE dedicated to the ladies. And that's also taking place in summer too. So imagine debuting her in that show. And that hasn't been around for like a couple years now, but imagine bringing her there around that time or whatever plans they have structured for her. It's like, it's either sometime in June. I would say probably sometime in June, July, or August. I'm leaning more towards maybe like a July and August sort of thing. But you never know. Maybe she does come over here and they see what she did over here since they last had her for tryouts. And, you know, she might go off and just take off completely when she comes over here. You never know.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I know this is kind of jumping around with our stories and all that. I mean, another thing to maybe consider is the fact that one of her friends, Mina Shirakawa, is going to be coming to AEW, like actually signing with AEW, you know? Because I mean, we found that out from a press conference she did, that she's, not only leaving Stardom, but she's not really entertaining any other offers. She's going straight to AEW. So it's like, okay, there's a close friend of Mariah May's right there coming into the company she's already in. Why go somewhere else when, there's some sort of comfort there, And I think it all depends, again, at the end of the day, just who's going to throw out the money, I mean,
Yeah.
as much as she might love, Triple H and Shawn Michaels and all that, I mean, if somebody's paying a little bit more, why not stay with them,
That is true.
Because the other thing, too, you got to think about, I don't think they would throw her onto the main roster right away,
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, they would have her be in NXT for a bit, and from what we heard in the news, like a month ago, there's kind of a big difference in pay when it comes to a NXT talent and WWE talent. So, I mean, there's also that to kind of think of as well, when it comes to where she might be ending up and all that. But I mean, moving right along. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, since you did brought up Mina, I feel like we got that covered.
Mm-hmm.
She's signed with AEW, so I think once I do the time codes, I'm just gonna structure this all together. So we might as well just throw in the Hammerstone to just have the three of them all together in one section.
One little contract section and all that. Yeah, you know what? Fun thing, because you actually were reading my mind with all that. So don't you guys just love us talking about like all this stuff just on camera? It's all great. It's all fun. A little bit of a backstage thing for you guys. It's all good. But yeah, as Drop was mentioning, Hammerstone is reportedly drawing interest from WWE following his exit from TNA. So this is according to WrestleVotes, who reported on one of their backstage pass Q&As. I know there's interest with Alex Hammerstone. I don't know if he's looking for a WWE contract, if he's going to spend some time on the indies or whatnot, but I know there's interest from WWE in Alex. God, he's only 34 years old?
Yeah, I thought he was
Holy
older.
crap. We are the same age, him and me. Oof. That is crazy. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. The first time I saw Hammerstone, and this was what was it? A couple months ago, he was on NXT. He kind of looked like a WWE guy. I'm not gonna lie. And yes, it is because he was a big meaty man and all that, just bumbling into the ring and all that. But I think he could do good on NXT, and I think NXT is kind of in a desperate need for some big talent on the male side. They kind of need to bolster up that male division on NXT.
Oh, definitely, hands down. I mean, he'd be a good fit to really help work with people down there. Last time I actually do recall seeing him was, I believe, a match he had with Obafemi. I think this was around the time where Obafemi might have been North American champion, so it's been quite some time. But if they could find some room to do it with him, I mean, hey, not a bad idea as long as they have a structured plan for him.
Oh yeah, and they could always run it back with Obafemi. I mean, he needs some legit contenders and all that.
Definitely.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I don't have much more to say on that. I mean, again, I would like to see more of his work. I do remember, I forgot what TNA show it was. It might have been the one where they had a 4-way for the heavyweight title on TNA. But that was one of my earlier times watching Hammerstone. It was during that event. I don't remember if he was in that match or not. But I mean, I liked what I saw. Again, big dude, very muscular dude. That dude's pretty big and all that. So I think he could do well on NXT for a bit. And of course, main roster when that time comes. But moving right along to this one. So there was this little how do I put this? So Ryan Nemeth, Nick Nemeth's brother, or Dolph Ziggler, however you want. So he was actually suing AEW and CM Punk for some stuff that went down back when Punk was part of the company and all that. And apparently, on Tuesday, Ryan revealed in his Twitter bio that he is being sued by a quote-unquote literal billionaire and was served only a few minutes before he was set to appear in a theater production. So, yeah. So Nemeth was appearing in Christie's Case Crackers street fighting knockout at the Hellenic Cultural Center in New York City. The venue seats 172 people. Isn't that just neat? Well, PW Insider has reported that Ryan Nemeth was served with a summons on behalf of AEW and Tony Khan, which stated he was being sued by AEW. While he is technically being sued, though, the summons to Nemeth is AEW's response to his original lawsuit to move the case to Duval County, Florida, and compel arbitration. AEW filed their response to Nemeth's lawsuit on March 14th. So AEW filed to move the case due to an arbitration clause in Nemeth's contract, which stipulates any disputes are to be resolved in Duval County, Florida. AEW filed another motion on March 20th, arguing Nemeth's talent contracts should be kept under seal as irreparable harm would be caused to the promotion if the contracts were accessible to AEW's competitors. Ryan Nemeth filed the lawsuit on February 14th against AEW, Tony Khan, and CM Punk, alleging assault, breach of contract, breach of implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing, and intentional interference with prospective advantage. I remember we had mentioned this on a previous episode of Grappling with the Week, how Tony Khan and AEW were being sued by Ryan Nemeth.
Yeah.
The fact that they countered this too, and were just like, that's not gonna happen. And from one of the reasons on here, apparently they don't want people knowing what's in their contracts, which, on one hand, is kind of shady. But I mean, on the other hand, on the business aspect, I get that. But at the same time, again, it's kind of shady.
Yeah.
You don't want people knowing what's in the contracts. Is there something in the contract you don't want us to know? What's going on here, dude? What are your thoughts on this?
This stuff with Ryan Nemeth, as of late, has been pretty wild, especially with the whole CM Punk situation. Why are we even trying to go back to that when he hasn't been with the company for 2 years now? Why is this even a thing? Just focus on what you're doing. Don't worry about other people. I don't really know what this is. It's almost at a point where it's kind of a gimmick online, the way that he's been acting lately, where you don't really know if it's legitimate or not. And you could easily, maybe it is, but it's just one of those things where it's you see his name brought up all the time, people don't take it seriously. That's why I said gimmick, because it's almost okay, another Ryan Nemeth news story, something always coming up every single day, kind of like a Hulk Hogan story coming up every single week. There's always one thing after the other when it comes to things revolving around Ryan Nemeth. So
yeah,
I mean, my initial thoughts on this, honestly, just hopefully just put this stuff to rest, so they can move on.
That's kind of how I'm feeling. Yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling. Just dude, just move on. Just move on. Punk's move on, AEW's move on, you move on. I get it. It probably sucked, dude. It probably did. But a lot of things in life suck. We just have to keep going and move on with it. But speaking of moving on, and some people that kind of need to move on from things, so cast your minds back to, what was it, last Friday? Yeah, it was last Friday when we had a little fun interview segment for Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair for their match going into WrestleMania. Not a lot of people like that. A lot of people thought it was, on one hand, a burial of Tiffany, which, use that phrase how you want. And from this report, some within WWE believe that Tiffany Stratton was placed in a sink or swim situation on SmackDown. Which I think we had kind of touched upon during our discussion of the segment too.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting that we're getting this report now, which came from Fightful's Q&A with Sean Ross Sapp. So I'm going to read a little bit from this article here. The feeling amongst fans was that Charlotte Flair got the better of the exchange, which, I could see that. She immediately put Stratton on the back foot after the challenger cut off the WWE Women's Champion, and Flair only continued to portray herself as the pinnacle of the WWE Women's roster, while Stratton was not on her level. This included Flair saying that Tiffany was, quote, an undeserving girl who, because she has blonde hair and can do a backflip, thinks she can compare herself to me. And a quote continues on from the Q&A. Definitely, there were some people that were like, oh, Charlotte definitely handled business on that one. Then there were some others that felt like Tiffany was put in a sink or swim situation, and they didn't say that she sank. It's just that Charlotte Flair is a better swimmer. And there's nothing wrong with that. We'll come back to that. I don't believe she, Charlotte, went off script or anything like that, but it does seem like she knew everything that Tiffany was going to say and had something for that. I don't know the level of improvisation there, but there were a lot of people that said, yeah, man, Charlotte looked really good in that segment, and Tiffany didn't. But I feel like that should be by design, Sean Ross said. Yeah, so we had talked about this. We had mentioned this, again, like on our SmackDown show for Weebs of the Ring.
Yep.
Yeah, I could definitely see this being a case where it's just like, all right, Tiffany, we're gonna test you now. Like, we're gonna see how well you can do, not only just in an interview segment, but if you can like hang with the big girls, kind of thing.
Yeah, so if you guys want to hear our initial thoughts on that, just watch Friday's coverage of the show. The timestamp should be there when it comes to me, Watkins, and Vash giving our thoughts on that segment. But, I mean, just looking back at it now, I can understand, like, the reception that this got. Mm-hmm. Because it's one of those situations where it's like, I mean, the way I look at it kind of seemed like Charlotte was more in favor when it came to this segment because there was a response to everything. It's almost like she had the cheat codes in front of her, so all she really had to do was just press the button, and she already had a response back, and it was the perfect response to really put Tiffany in a situation where she felt like she was cornered and she didn't really know what to say, because the way that Charlotte came off, and maybe it was done by design, maybe that was in the whole script, but it's like the way that it came off, it really felt like she was just, I guess, letting things out, basically just putting things out there in the open, maybe trying to bring something into existence about Tiffany Stratton or whatever, because we don't really know what goes on behind the scenes. And I'm not saying that there is things going on behind the scenes, but sometimes, there's things in wrestling called a work. And sometimes when it comes to people saying certain things on the microphone or whatever, sometimes it's a work. And then sometimes WWE runs with it because television, and it brings us good television. So it's like the way that the whole segment played out and everything, I mean, like I said, check the time codes and everything, but we haven't really been the biggest fans of this build. And I know there's some people out there that really enjoyed the segment last week, but all to you and everything. If you enjoy the segment and everything, that's fine. It just... the way that everything was structured around it, I can't really argue against people saying, Charlotte ate Tiffany up in that segment. Charlotte seems like, she's pretty much been on the top of this whole entire feud the entire time. And I don't know if it's one of those things where it's like, oh, Tiffany needs to play this underdog against Charlotte Flair, but at the same time, how is she an underdog if she's a champion? So you would think, since she's the new girl in town, she would want to put her foot down, say more things. I mean, it's like I even said, try to play things out on both sides so each girl has like the right amount of ammunition to shoot at each other when it comes to those sort of responses towards one another. Really make it feel real, really blend reality with whatever's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But I mean, even like outside of this though, that's probably one of the biggest questions we really have coming into SmackDown tomorrow. It's like, okay, what are they gonna do now? How is things gonna evolve from last week and everything? And you never know, we might even have another segment next week talking about this. Maybe something else transpires. It's like levels above this. You don't really know. But SmackDown, I will say for sure, definitely does have a lot of interesting things going on in that department, and that's definitely one of them.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely is. And I mean, yeah, I get it with the whole sink or swim thing. Like, I get that because you kind of, how else are you going to get better if you aren't just kind of, just thrown to the wolves, kind of, especially in like the wrestling business like this.
Yeah.
So I get that, understand that mindset, but yeah, if you want more of an in-depth conversation with it, yeah, check out last week's episode. We'll probably say more tomorrow night as well with it. But it's just kind of nice to get some what's the word I'm looking for right now? Shoot, I can't think of the word right now. Oh my gosh. Words, English language. Not backup. Shoot. Oh no, it's gonna bother me. Whatever. We'll move on. I can't think of the damn word to think about. It just basically justifies what we were talking about, I think, is what I'm trying to say. So we'll use the word justified as we go on to somebody who can definitely talk a little better than my mentally shut down mind can. Mark Shunock will be the new ring announcer for SmackDown. So again, what was this, like 2 weeks ago? We got this announcement from Lillian Garcia saying that she was stepping away from being an announcer and all that. It was only a temporary thing. And now we've got this guy named Mark Shunock, who's going to be the new announcer for SmackDown. So if you don't know who this Mark guy is, like I didn't earlier, a couple things we learned from him. So this came from a tweet from WrestleOps saying this. So he's hosted and announced Top Rank Boxing on ESPN. He's been the vice president of entertainment and in-arena host for the Vegas Golden Knights. And he's the in-arena host for the Las Vegas Raiders. So that's cool. That's neat. I know I tried to listen to a video earlier before I left work of his work, but I didn't get to really kind of hear him. But what I heard was kind of boring. Like he kind of sounded like Mike Rome in the recording I listened to. But again, it was very quick. It was like maybe a 2-3 second snippet I got to hear of it. And I'm just like, all right, I'll just try to listen to it later. And later's here, and I didn't get to listen to it before we came on. But what are your thoughts on it? Did you get a chance to like hear him announcing for his boxing, or like what are your thoughts with this guy?
I did listen to that little video, that little minute video underneath the tweet that's by another fellow like X account. Probably giving people like a good idea of like how he sounds and everything. And I'm just gonna say this, I'm just gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, see what he brings to the table. Because based on the sound of his voice, I didn't listen to the whole clip that person put in the tweet. But I do like the sound of his voice. So I'm
Mhm.
gonna wait and see how it translates to WWE, because it could be a different thing. 'Cause
Yeah.
this is a different universe compared to where he was doing like boxing stuff and everything like that. So we'll see
Mhm.
how it is. It's not like we're not waiting long either. I mean, we're getting him
Yeah.
tomorrow on tomorrow's episode of SmackDown. So I'm definitely
Yeah.
gonna see where things go from there. Not much on that until we actually get a good
Mhm.
idea. And more than likely, I would assume we would probably bring up our thoughts on him tomorrow on our show.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll probably have more to talk about that tomorrow. Again, another plug for tomorrow night's stream, so that'll be fun. I think we're gonna try to go live at 8 p.m. EST. So it's just stay tuned on the old Twitter machine. But our last little news segment we're gonna talk about. This was something I saw actually before I left work too. So there were rumors about WWE bringing back Evolution, and it seems like those rumors are bearing some fruit, because we got this tweet from WrestleVotes, who had stated, after speaking with some of their sources, they can confirm WWE is set to bring back the highly anticipated Evolution PLE this summer. The return of the all-women's event is expected to be officially announced before WrestleMania. And the credit goes to Corey Hayes, who had heard rumblings of this rumor weeks back. And I think we had reported that as well on our show, talking about that. But I wanted to bring it up again because, this is actually kind of confirming this. WrestleVotes do have some good, good sources when it comes to stuff in WWE and all that. And yeah, I mean, the last Evolution we got was back in 2018, and I mean, it was a good event. I'm excited for what they could put on this time around, because the women's talent has just gotten immensely better since then as well.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the event. The rumored date, I believe, is like July 5th or July 6th, either one of those, and it's supposed to take place at Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, which is a place I can go to. So depending on ticket pricing, whenever, I might actually consider going there to witness this in person. I feel like it would be pretty cool. Haven't been to an event in a while. But it's like you said, they have a lot of big names in the division now, and their roster's only gotten crazy bigger since the last time they had that event. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it, and I'm really looking forward to learning more about it once we get closer to the event itself.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Hopefully we get some really good matches from it, some good segments, and just I'm ready for it. It's been a while.
Yeah, just mix some main roster talent, NXT talent. That'd be nice.
Yeah, have another Mae Young Classic.
Yeah,
do that. Have the finals there. Again, number one contender shop. If they really want to, do another Queen of the Ring too. If you don't want to do Mae Young Classic, finals there. Yeah, just easy money right there. But hey, that about does it for our greater wrestling media. All the news segments, all the interviews, and all that hoopla has finally gotten out from the week. Now we're going to turn our attention to the Turnbuckle Tidbits. Now, this is the part of the show where we talk about both NXT and AEW Dynamite. See, again, the English language just escapes me after this hell week I've been having from work. But yeah, we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the mediocre at best. So we're going to start off by talking about AEW Dynamite. I'm gonna try to keep this short. If you have, I'll turn to you if I want any other extra thoughts, because there's a couple things that happen on Dynamite I wouldn't mind hearing. Another voice on. So Kenny Omega has a squash match, a glorified squash match, and first of all, why did we need this at all? You could have just come out there, Kenny, talked, and gotten the same reaction you did. Did not need the squash match. Did not need it at all. It was just 5 minutes of, hey, look at this kid try to go. Stuck his hand down his pants, flipped Kenny Omega off. Then he ate a V-trigger and one wing angel. Great, cool, awesome, fantastic. But Kenny gets on the mic afterwards, starts running down his opponents for Dynasty. And Speedball Mike Bailey comes out, or as I like to call him, the walking bobblehead. And I'm going to have to get used to Speedball Mike Bailey on the mic. He's kind of awkward on the mic a little bit, but that might just be his style again. But we'll see. We'll see as the weeks come by. And Ricochet's not there because apparently he got married this weekend to Samantha Irvine. So of course, congratulations to you guys on getting married and all that. You know, Mazel Tov, all that stuff. But Ricochet, he's looking to have, the second best day of his life by beating Kenny and Speedball Mike Bailey at Dynasty for the international title. Kenny's not there to make friends. He's there to, kick ass, take names and all that. And with all the respect in the world, that's fine. We're going to get out of here. Done with the promo segment. It was fine, I thought, for the most part. Again, I'm going to have to get used to Speedball's promo work, but I mean, again, we're just building for their triple threat match at Dynasty, which I mean, Kenny's gonna be winning that one. Like, I don't see Ricochet or Speedball Mike Bailey winning at all. But yeah, this segment was what it was. It was fine. It was all right. But shortly after that, we have a backstage segment with Jericho. First of all, he tells Big Bill and Brian Keith to, hey, start applying what I've been trying to teach you guys for the past few months and go do something. Okay, great, awesome, fantastic. We'll find out what they were doing here in a little bit. But Jericho then challenges Bandito not only to a title match, but he's challenging him to a title versus mask match at Dynasty. So I don't know about this one, because like on one hand, this could be telegraphing, okay, finally Jericho's going to drop that ROH title and go flip off somewhere. That would be great. But on the other hand, what if it is something where it is going to be Bandito having to unmask and all that? Because we saw the whole stuff with his brother getting unmasked. Like, that's a big story element of this match. I guess I'll ask you really quick, Drop. Do you think Bandito's losing that mask, or do you think Jericho's actually going to drop to him?
More than likely, Jericho's gonna.
Oh, okay. So you're on that boat.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Even with the stipulation in mind, I mean, they're way too. Wait, they're way too like all over Jericho. I can't really see him dropping titles of that.
Yeah, no, I can't either. I feel like it's going to be somebody else to take it from Jericho, which, I mean, it kind of sucks because that means Jericho's going to hold on to that title even longer. But, I mean, hey, that's Chris Jericho in 2025 for you. Don't you love him? Don't you love the learning tree? Hi, guys. Yeah, great. Awesome. Fantastic. Well, let's go to something that's a little better than that. So MJF goes to the ring now. He's going to finally tell MVP his answer, whether or not he's going to join the Hurt Syndicate or just say no to friends and all that. And he actually wants to be in the business of hurting people, and he's about to shake MVP's hand, and out come Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, who rip up the card and tell MJF to go flip himself. So it seems like they're not on the same page with MVP, which good. Like knowing MJF, his history, and the kind of person he is, kind of good on Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin to be like, MVP, are you sure about this, buddy? Are you positive? Are you absolutely certain you want somebody like MJF part of us? Are you sure about that? You positive? I don't know about this. So I think that's good that they're kind of wary about that. Just pushing that a little bit more, like adding more character to their stable other than, hey, we hurt people. Great. But then we get this very, I don't want to say awkward, but remember what people said about like Charlotte with Tiffany last week about how like, oh, it's a possible burial, blah, blah, blah. Oh God, MVP just absolutely like, and not even like it wasn't even difficult for him either. Just with ease, just kind of put down Big Bill and Brian Keith for coming out and even daring to want to step up to the tag champions. Because, like, Big Bill and Brian Keith they come out and they want a title shot. And literally, MVP's just like, all right, you gotta win, though. If you win the match, then yeah, maybe we'll talk. But, like, you gotta win. And then, like, every time Big Bill tries to say something, MVP just kind of like steps on him a little bit and trying to like pushes him over and all that. And I mean, of course, wrestling's favorite curse word being bitch and all that, like that gets thrown around here and there throughout this segment. Yeah, that's basically it. We find out, I think, Big Bill and Brian Keith have a tag match on Collision, so hopefully they win, get a shot at the tag titles. Cool, neat, great. Now we go to our first actual match of the night. Kyle Fletcher taking on Brody King. I'm not sure how or why this match was set up. It was just kind of here because, hey, Kyle Fletcher's back from his massive cage match against Will Ospreay. Cool, great. Let's give him a match with Brody King. Why? I don't know. Brody King needs something to do, which means, you know, losing to Kyle Fletcher, which, I mean, at least there was interference from Mark Davis and all that, and, like, the match itself was pretty good, you know, but, again, par for the course with AEW, and, yeah, another, like, turnbuckle brainbuster, too. Like, I've been seeing them, like, especially AEW a lot, have been busting this out ever since Sami Zayn used it on Gunther. Like, this old turnbuckle brainbuster move has been used a lot lately, you know. So on one hand, cool, but on the other hand, please be careful out there, because that is kind of a dangerous move. They start doing the post-match beatdown, but it kind of leads to our next match, which is Powerhouse Hobbs taking on Mark Davis, who helped Kyle Fletcher win his match. But hey, Kyle Fletcher's too busy doing Kyle Fletcher stuff to really help Mark Davis win his match, so Powerhouse Hobbs makes easy work of Mark Davis, despite how much Don Callis wants to be on commentary, bullying Powerhouse Hobbs, saying, "Oh, he's a bully, and I should call the cops on him because he tried to attack me." It's just like, Don, shut up, shut up. I know you're a heel. I know you're a heel, dude. It's just, shut up. Just zip it. Just zip it. We go into the back where we find out, hey, what's going on with Nick Wayne, because he cost Edge his title match last week, but we don't find out this week. We gotta find out, like, next week when he talks to Christian, and we get some teases here where, like, Nick Wayne's just like, you know, this is what happens when everyone follows and executes a plan properly. So we're going to be getting that turn against Christian Cage soon, I'm assuming. So great, cool, fantastic. Now we get to a pre-recorded interview with Rated FTR, who have this sit-down conversation with Tony Schiavone. Because, hey, last week, Dax Harwood, he was pissed at Edge, or, you know, Adam Copeland, whatever. But he's using the excuse like, oh, my emotions got the better of me. I just, you know, I'm sorry about that. It's just like, we've been focusing so much on these Death Riders for the past few months. I just want me and Cash Wheeler to go for the tag titles and all that. And, I mean, Copeland wants to go for the trios titles, with Cash kind of goes back with him on. Like, he backs Edge on up with that. And, I mean, Dax reluctantly agrees. So we get that set up for Dynasty, them against the Death Riders for the trios titles. I don't know if they're going to be winning those titles or not, because it seems like they're going to be telling a story of either, like, FTR turning heel on Edge, or like maybe just Dax going on his own. But, like, I wouldn't break up FTR at all, so hopefully that's not the case that we go under. I don't know. Like, I feel like they were trying to do something with what they've already pre-established with, like, FTR helping out Adam Copeland and all that. But again, this kind of feels like we're forcing another story to make Edge probably look good on top. Because I mean, if we get like an FTR versus Edge feud, who's going to be helping Edge then in that aspect? Like, who's going to be in his corner when all this happens? Like, I don't know. This is one I'll ask your opinion on, Drop. What do you think of this whole rated FTR thing?
I don't really know what's going on with it. Like, if they are teasing a split or whatever, I mean, I'm not even sure why that's even up for debate. Doesn't really make any sense in the slightest, considering that they're going to war against these people, and all of a sudden you want Dax or whoever to turn on Copeland. For what? How's it going to benefit? Nothing.
Yeah, nothing. It'll only benefit Copeland, which I'm glad we didn't bring up that story either of him trying to also put out any fires of his booking and all that. Like, dude, you're just following a child. But anyways, that's besides the point. Moving on right along. So we were speaking about Swerve earlier. Hey, let's put some life into this whole Death Riders thing and this whole Jon Moxley title reign. So Swerve is here to call out Jon Moxley, and he basically, the gist of his promo is just he wants to prove that Mox isn't worth the title and that Swerve is the one to kind of save AEW from it. I would love for Swerve to win the title back from Mox, but I don't think that's happening either when we get to Dynasty. And Mox basically wants to show Swerve how far he's willing to go to keep the title. And like we get this tease of like Claudio Castagnoli like showing up right behind Prince Nana and like threatening him and all that. We had Marina Shafir come out and her and Willow Nightingale get into a fight again, which when are we going to blow that off? Like, we keep having Willow just coming out to confront Marina Shafir, whether Death Riders are going against Adam Copeland or now Swerve Strickland. Like, when are we going to have this match with these two? Are we ever going to have a match with these two? Like, where's the direction with that stuff, you know? But I mean, that's just asking where's the direction with the Death Riders and all that. So I don't know, man. It's just weird. But one thing I did like though too is before this segment, Swerve did confront Hangman Adam Page for what he said last week about him like making sure that Swerve does not win the title at all ever again. And like Swerve confronted him just like, hey man, you want to try me? You want to go? Like, you know what I'm capable of. Do not test me. So I'm hoping we don't get an instance where Hangman costs Swerve the title and then we end up running that back because a lot of people also have Hangman being the one to take the title from Moxley. And it's just like, okay, well, why would you do that if I mean, I get it because like the whole aspect of like, oh, I don't want Swerve to win the title again. I need to make sure he doesn't. But it's like you're kind of also making your company be more in the darkness then. Like you're basically letting Frieza win at that aspect. If we're going to tie like anime into all this. Like it's basically, yeah, Goku letting... No, not Goku, I guess. Hangman's not more of a Goku character. It's like Vegeta just letting Frieza have the Dragon Balls on Namek. It's like, oh yeah, here you go. You can wish for immortality too. There's 3 wishes. We can both be immortal. Ha ha ha. It's like, dude, you also want to kill Frieza. Why would you... Why? Oh, just so Goku can't beat you again? Okay, fine, whatever, Vegeta. Now, one little segment I did like though. This is a very short segment. So Samoa Joe and Hook are backstage. They're just walking, and Joe's kind of giving Hook some shit for taking on Max Caster's little open challenge, and Hook is just like, man, it's just fun to choke him out. That's why I did it and all that. And they catch up to Max Caster. He's talking to Top Flight and AR Fox in the back, who are the hometown boys, fun fact. And they just kind of sneak up behind him, and Joe just chokes Max Caster out. And when he's done, he looks at Hook, he's just like, yeah, that was fun. I don't... I don't know, fun little segments like that just it puts a smile on my face. It's like, man, this is just fun. Like these are just two guys just kind of having fun beating people up and all that. Which leads to a squash match of the tag team variety now, with Top Flight beating someone just so they can get a hometown pop. Okay, cool. Building up some tag teams, neat, awesome. We gonna do anything with them? Like besides a squash match? All right, cool, neat. Another singles match now. Takeshita taking on Mark Briscoe and defeating Mark Briscoe. Why are these two fighting? Well, you know, reasons. But hey, the match was a banger. The match was cool. But yeah, I mean, Takeshita going over. Yeah, he kind of needs to build some more wins again after losing that international title. So yeah, and it's always a good treat to see Mark Briscoe on TV. I enjoy his work.
Oh, definitely.
And then our main event, our lovely main event. Now the main event started like there were like 2 minutes left. It was like 9:58, and they're doing their entrances and all that. I'm like, oh, this is definitely going over then. Okay, cool, neat, awesome. So Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford took on Thunder Rosa and Timeless Tony Storm, or as Tony Storm like to call themselves, Thunder Tits. You know what's funny? There was a sign right there in the front row that said Thunder Tits, and I'm just like, oh, you're not a plant, are you? You didn't know that ahead of time, did you? I think you did.
Oh, yeah,
I
definitely.
think you did. I thought the match was fine. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. I can't get into Megan Bayne. I don't know why. I don't know if it's like the people she's being matched up with or something. Like I see the vision of her. But there's something about her I'm just not getting into right now. And I don't know what it is. But I mean, she was able to beat Tony Storm. She was able to pin Tony Storm. And this just gets into a criticism I have of like, oh, because WWE did this too, where it's like, oh, it's either a non-title match or it's a tag team match. Hell, it happened to Cody just a year ago, where he got pinned by Solo Sikoa in a tag team match. Like, and then Solo just becomes the number one contender because, hey, I technically pinned the champion in a match. Granted, it was a tag team match, but whatever. And, like, at least Megan Bayne and Tony Storm's match was already made before the tag team match. But it's like, we already have the visual now of Megan Bayne pinning Tony. And so, like, your immediate thought is just like, oh, well, then I guess Tony Storm's going to go over in the in their match and all that. But it's just like, when you have that thought, and then you think about, like, the two people that are involved in the match, it's like, okay, again, I think I said this, like, either last week or the week before, you're in a lose-lose situation here, where it's like, you have Tony Storm who came out from a very brutal match with Mariah May, and now she's going to be losing to somebody, you know, like Megan Bayne in a normal match where she loses in like very, very quick fashion in this tag team match too. Like the match felt very quick, and she just loses to one of her finishers, and it's like, oh, that's it. I don't know. It kind of took me out of it a little bit because like I expected Tony to like put up more of a fight with Megan Bayne, but maybe again they could be saving more for their their singles match. But like I'm just not a fan of champions losing like this, you know, and especially Tony Storm after that Hollywood ending match with Mariah May, like the shit they went through in that match, like, and she just loses in a tag match like this, like I don't know. this felt just this. It felt wrong to
Underwhelming.
me a
Yeah,
little
but
bit.
underwhelming, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm hoping they turn that around. But I will say this, at least with like the dynamic they have of like Megan Bayne being the bigger person and Tony Storm being the smaller person, this is at least a better way to do an underdog champion story compared to Charlotte and Tiffany. I'll at least say that at least when it comes to physicality.
Oh yeah.
But I do want to ask you about that because like again, my criticism is just that having the champion being pinned in a tag match before their title match. Like, what do you think of the outcome of this?
I mean, my initial thoughts really with where Megan Bayne is currently, I kind of feel like where she is with Tony is like a little too soon because they still haven't fully established her on in AEW yet when it comes to actually using her outside of the matches that they have. And I even feel like with that, they should have just waited to get her to Tony, where once she had a match with a big name on that roster, then she could fit herself in that position, or she could fit herself doing something with Mercedes. But obviously, that lane is already booked because she has plans with Athena down the line. We don't really know when that's taking place.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just feel like, especially if you're trying to like really bring someone up, I don't know if it's really a good idea to put her in a match with Tony Storm. Like, you got the visual there of her pinning Tony, so by default it's kind of like, okay, I guess Tony's gonna pin her, or do something at the Dynasty pay-per-view to really cap that off for a win over Megan Bayne. But I also don't want to see that because you look at her size and you just feel like there's more to it than just a submission or a pin to take her out, or a knockout or something along the lines of that. So I mean, the match to me was it was whatever really.
Yeah, just when it was announced too, I'm just like, oh, okay, cool, neat, excellent. I guess we're doing that then. Awesome. But yeah, so that was Dynamite. I mean, I thought it was a fine show. A lot of promo work. I think we could have done without the squash matches, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of them.
Yeah, like I don't understand why like the tag team match one just seemed like, oh, let's get them out there because we're hometown boys. All right, cool. The Kenny one definitely didn't need to happen. Like, I mean, I saw that. What was it like the other day? I think I messaged you guys too. I'm just like, who is this guy, and why are we doing this? Like, this is gonna be a squash match, right? And lo and behold, 5 minutes, and this guy was done. Like, whatever have you. But I'm glad like at least Moxley has somebody kind of better to dance with. Like, I think him and Swerve are gonna have a really good match come Dynasty, and I think they're gonna really put on a good show for us. A lot better of a show than him and Cope did. That's for sure. That the FTR stuff kind of has me scratching my head. Like, I don't know what the end point for that is. I really don't know. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, the matches we got were cool. They were good. It's just like it's one of those things where it's just like, okay, what are we doing? Like, are we just gonna plodding along until Dynasty's done? Okay, cool, neat, excellent. Thanks. Now we move on to NXT, where a lot of other things happen, including like a double champion having 2 title matches and all that. So I'm gonna give the floor to Drop now. He's gonna let you guys know how NXT was this week.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to go through this, talk about the things that stood out to me, and then just give a few thoughts on like minor things that took place within the show itself. So I'm going to group both of the matches that Stephanie had. So she started off the show against Jada Parker because Jada Parker called her shot towards Stephanie for the NXT Women's Championship. And they had a match. It was, it was pretty good and everything. Unfortunately, Jada wasn't able to come up on top in that match. I didn't really expect it to head down that direction, really, because she just won that title very recently. But the biggest talking point within that match itself is after the match, Stephanie was attacked by Fatal Influence. So Fallon had her lackeys out there, doing a little bit damage on Stephanie, which you would think, okay, she has a match with her in the main event for the Women's North American Championship, so that must mean she's trying to weaken her opponent so she has a better way of capturing that title in that match. And there's a whole story being played out if she could possibly defend the title, do something with it later on, and that she was able to, come through with it. She has the match. She's able to defend that title successfully. And again, we had Jada Parker coming out trying to pretty much interfere within the match itself. We have a whole thing going on between Jordynne Grace and Jada Parker. So obviously Jordynne Grace came out to put an end to whatever Jada was doing. And that right there is pretty much teasing a match between her and Jordynne Grace, possibly at Stand and Deliver. We don't know yet. One thing's for sure is that when it comes to Jordynne Grace, when it comes to Stephanie, there was a thing that sparked within the community with that angle that took place with Fatal Influence earlier in the night, where maybe this was teasing something with Julia, because they were talking about Julia on commentary, talking about, oh, we haven't seen her since New York and everything. So a lot of people are thinking, okay, she's going to come in, she's going to help Stephanie, and then she's going to possibly turn heel on her afterwards, pretty much setting up that match for Stand and Delivered, because maybe they want to tap into the whole thing where Julia's been 0-2 against Stephanie, so maybe they want to have her venture down that route, have her be a heel, and give us, a proper match. Not saying the other match was bad, but giving us our main event for when it comes to the women's NXT Women's Championship. So that was pretty much the big talking point there. We had a match with Tyreek and Tyson against Hank Walker and Tank Ledger. Yeah, a pretty simple tag match and everything. You saw Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin on there giving some encouragement to Hank and Tank. So, that was really nice to see, advising them, wishing them long-term success in the tag division. And then when it comes to Lexis King and Javon Evans, it was an NXT Heritage Cup match. And Javon was doing pretty well for the most part. And then obviously Lexis King had his moment where he was able to shine. But then you had Obafemi come out, because we saw him coming out earlier, and he cost Javon Evans that match, given what happened the previous week. And that's pretty much just building into their storyline. And then we ended up seeing Dark State make an appearance later on. Yeah, Trick out there and everything, obviously sort of feeding into like, okay, who's in charge of this group, who's the leader, who's making all the decisions and everything. And a lot of people lean towards Trick being that person. So I wanted to combine all of their segments together, because that's pretty much almost like a triple threat. It seems like at Stand and Deliver, there's going to be Oba, Javon, and Trick for the men's NXT Championship. Simple match between Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley against Lash Legend Shakara Jackson. Same thing with Ethan Page and Andre Tate. Pretty basic stuff there. And we also had Tony D'Angelo at a restaurant with the family, expressing concern over Dark State and questioning Stack's loyalty, hinting that possibly we might see like Stack's break apart from Tony D'Angelo. Maybe this is like Tony D'Angelo's swan song in NXT. Maybe they'll have a match at Stand and Deliver. Maybe there'll be a betrayal there with Stack's turning on him. and then maybe they'll have Tony D'Angelo on his way to the main roster. That's what it seems like to me. Possibly he gets called up after Mania, or I would assume the draft, have something go on between the both of them. And then we had something with Vic Joseph just talking about Ricky Stain, discussing his confidence and place in NXT. And obviously you had Sean Spears come in there saying, oh, if things don't work out here, you can go back. But we already know you burnt bridges over there, pretty much referencing like AEW and everything, which a lot of people tend to, just tear that apart and everything. When it came to, how they took that comment online. But again, it's just a part of whatever story they're telling right now. So I didn't really look super deep into it. Sometimes you got to blend reality with whatever's going on that's scripted to really make things feel organic when it comes to these feuds. But other than that, though, that was pretty much NXT. Like, just summing up the stuff that really stood out to me and talking about the big story moments to really push things further beyond this point, leading on to next week's episode.
Okay. It's amazing to me how much, like, because whenever we talk about NXT and AEW Dynamite on this show, it's always amazing to me how much AEW tries to throw in so much in their 2 hours, and like for a lot of segments don't even let it breathe before they just move on.
Yeah.
Whereas like with NXT, like even just like going through it, like a lot of stuff is just given time and all that, because like I'm sure like a lot of these matches were longer than a 5-minute squash match.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. like I mean, even hold on, what was it? The this tag match I was looking at. I mean, even that was probably like I would probably say like 7 or 8 minutes at least.
Yeah.
But that's just me speculating with that. But yeah, it just always amazes me in that aspect. But yeah, I mean, Stand and Deliver's looking pretty good though.
Yeah,
like that's looking like a good. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully we get some good stuff going on. But speaking of good stuff, that's actually it. That's all of it, people. No hot topic this week, just because, like, again, everything seems to be kind of slow right now, at least when it comes to news or like big stories going on. I think our biggest story this week was probably the Gail Kim stuff and all that. Yeah. Any parting words before I hit this outro and like plug in some other pluggy ruse?
Other than that, though, just stay tuned for tomorrow's show. So obviously we'll say that towards the end, but just to get our insight on what's going on there, and hopefully next week we have another hot story to talk about outside of the TNA stuff, because it seems like that was the one, like you said, that was the really big talking point that took place this week.
Yeah, and I mean, I think some other things came out earlier today too, but again, it's been a week, ladies and gentlemen. It has been one hell of a week, and we just grappled with it. And tomorrow we'll lay down some SmackDown lowdown, freak down, beat downs of whatever goes down on the Friday night show. But yeah, I mean, only way to check that out is by subscribing to the channel, making sure hit the notification bell. That way you get notified when we go live or when we upload something. Yeah, if you guys want more stuff, we'll make some time to make it all happen and all that. And thank you. I'm just gonna say it. Thank you for listening to Grappling with the Week this week. Before we head out, as always, just be sure to follow us on all our social media platforms. You can see them right there at the bottom of our screen. All the ads are right there. Animal We Studio, that's the parent company. You got Legendary Vash. He wasn't here tonight. He's currently right now streaming with Memory NK. They're talking about what they're going to be watching in the spring anime season. So go check that out. They're still going on right now. I don't know how long or late they're gonna go, but they'll be going on for a bit. They'll be talking about what they are gonna be watching and what we might be live reacting to as our content comes out and all that. So be sure to check that out as well. At Drop This Box, at Watkins MW, that's where you can find me and Drop to talk to us. And the links to our own personal channels are down in the description below. I know I've been on a bit of a hiatus for the past month, but maybe content will come back. I don't know. Who sees? We'll see when individual content comes back from me. But definitely check out Drop Stuff. He has some great stuff coming out on the daily during the week. And also use the hashtag Weebs of the Ring so we can interact with you and you could talk with us before, during, or after these shows. And that's also a great way to give us feedback because, hey, we are nothing without you lovely people joining in and tuning in to the shows as they go live. Grappling with the Week is presented by Anima We Studio. Thanks to our production team for all the hard work that they put in for these shows. Thank you for joining us, and a special shout out to Stu. I know you're still dealing with, John Cena breaking up with not only just all of us, but you in general, but we appreciate you for all the wonderful camera work that you do and just, helping out with the recording of this podcast. And have a good night, everybody, and we will see you tomorrow night for Smack Diggity Down.
See you guys.